I feel like this video is important to make because it's not enough to spend all your money at Disney, but you have to spend all your money outside of Disney for Disney.
On Disney things.
Which is run by Disney fans who will then spend that money on Disney.
Yeah.
So it all flows back to Disney.
It's a whole ecosystem.
I just forward my paychecks to the company. I'm assuming they're okay with that.
Yeah.
Here's a video I wanted to make sort of, because as I've been getting more and more into like the Disney fandom scene, you know, just not as a personal fan, but communicating with other people who are fans, I'm really impressed by like how many merchandise products there are to buy that have nothing to do with the company itself, that are fan made, fan sold, and are really like high quality and really awesome. And so I figured throwing together a video to highlight some of those would be a lot of fun. And I figured inviting you to do it would be good as well, because I know you've gotten some things, right? So this is not a top 5 list. None of these are in any particular order. We're probably going to mention a lot of websites and places you can buy this stuff. That doesn't mean that they're the only options. There are a ton out there. But let's just kick it off with, how about this?
Yeah.
Disney scented candles.
Yeah, the best thing to exist ever.
Really, really, I think one of the most surprising for people when you go, oh, well, they sell Disney candles. And you would think that means like just candles with like Mickey on them or something. But these are made to smell like specific parts of the parks.
Yeah.
Now, this one's from Anthology's Candles. There's also the Walter and Rosie Candle Co. Those are, I feel like, the 2 big ones.
Yep.
And I'm holding what I think would be one of the more popular ones, which is Rome Burning.
Yeah.
And this one smells like Rome Burning.
Yeah. It's a weird thing to say. To be like, yeah, so if a candle smells like Rome burning, it smells so good.
Yeah.
It's like, that sounds a little
And it
wrong,
seems like a bizarre candle because it's like, it smells like something's burning. Yeah, it smells, I mean, it brings back that memory for sure.
So candles were kind of the first thing that I bought that was kind of like this, because we've done like top 5 smells in Disney, and like sense of smell is like the biggest trigger for memory.
Right.
And so to me, all I can think of is between my trips, I want to have something that like really gives me those memories when I'm not there. And I've actually have a bunch. I have like little tea light candles, so you can get like samplers.
It's that what are wax melts?
Wax melts? Okay, I'm gonna teach you a thing
Teach me
today.
what a wax. Do you just put it in another candle?
No.
Like, what do you do with them?
So you have to get a specific like tray that you can.
Oh, it's like that thing.
Yes.
Oh.
We're pointing to a thing that's like the thing.
It looks just like it's like a little brazier.
Yes, and what it does is like you heat up, instead of lighting a candle with a flame, it's like the wax melts as you're heating it.
So how do you heat it? What do you just put it on your stove?
I mean, it depends on the.
Do you put another candle under it? That seems like poor.
We have to talk a lot more about this after this video.
Yeah.
I have one that's supposed to smell like the Haunted Mansion, and it really does. One that's supposed to smell like Pirates, and it kind of smells like also the burning scene from Pirates, which is different though than that for sure. Like when you actually smell it,
less knowledge, more just
chaos.
Homes and people's livelihoods.
I did have one that was supposed to smell like the water in Splash Mountain. That was honestly disappointing. But I think that's a really
it's water, that's a tough one to nail.
Well, it's that treated water smell that you just can't.
Here's what I'm excited about. There's one that's supposed to smell like the Contemporary, and I
really want to get the hotel ones.
Hoping it's the carpet. Anthology, listen to me. You could do a carpet series. I would buy them all. I'm sure plenty of people would, because the carpet smells are unique and very special to Disney.
So I think they're not expensive. They're
$16 for a candle, and then the wax melt sets are a little cheaper.
Yeah, you can do the sampler if you're like, this is really going to smell like what it says it's going to smell like. But if you're someone who likes, like, I just like candles, so I have them in my house all the time. So it just was like a no-brainer to get them. So, yeah. How about
buttons? Buttons, I think, are a big one. There's a lot of, Disney, obviously, they celebrate a lot of things through buttons. You go up to, Main Street and you can get your birthday button, your I'm celebrating button. But there has become this fandom of creating custom buttons. And, whether it's on the personal level of, like, our friend Keith, who creates his own buttons.
He doesn't sell them. He just hands them out for free.
And he does cool drops where he hides them.
So if you're a big Disneyland goer, you should actually check out his Instagram. It's Keith Lappenig. and he will mention he's dropped something. He'll take a photo of like where it might be,
right?
And he has these really funny, like they play off of the celebrate. He has like a unbirthday button. He has ones with like different characters with like funny quotes that they've said,
right? And they're in that same visual style.
Exactly.
They look like those Disney buttons.
Right.
And then there's a website, Parkbound Buttons, which has a whole lot of them, ranging from Star Wars to, I think they have like one Harry Potter one. And those you can buy, and they range, like, they're cheap. They're like $4 a pop. They're really cool. I feel like they're a fun way to, like, I don't know, they're a cool attention grabber. They're a great way to personalize your experience there. You know, if you're like me, I got buttons just before our trip for my book bag, and I got one, this is from Main Street Button Emporium, that was a fast pass, an old style ticket fast pass for Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
I think it's also cool. I think part of it came about because they have like happy anniversary, happy birthday, but that's about it, and like first visit. And I think some people, there was very specific things that they were celebrating, so they created their own. Like people now make like, you know, 10th visit buttons, like celebrating the fact, you know, they go a lot. So like I think it kind of stemmed from like it was a little bit limited what you got at Disney, and like now people can just create their own to like talk about what they're celebrating.
Buttons everywhere.
Yeah.
Next up, let's talk about T-shirts. I feel like this is the most obvious of them and the simplest one. It's the gateway fan product because it's the one I think most people would think of first when they're like, oh, I want to look outside of the scope of the Disney company for Disney fan stuff. You can find these, I mean, everywhere. Like,
everywhere.
And to be fair, this applies to everything we're talking about. You go to Etsy or Redbubble or like all of these sort of, you know, individually created products that go through these services, and you could find a ton of stuff. But T-shirts, obviously, there are a lot of them. To my mind, I think of apparel. Happily Ever Tees is another one that comes to mind. And then just usually, I'm sort of the type who I'll search for the type of shirt I want rather than go to a specific place to find the shirt.
Yeah. We were talking about the shirt that I have that some of you guys probably have seen in my vlogs. That's the castle and it says home.
Right.
First of all, I got like all annoyed when we saw people with the other one at the parks.
Bootleg ones?
Well, here's why. So let me explain. That shirt comes from a company called Home Tees. And they originally started just printing out shirts that were like states, like your home state. And you would just have the state there and it would say home. And then people eventually asked for Disney ones. So they have one that's specifically Cinderella's Castle, Sleeping Beauty, and I don't even know what else they have now. And funnily enough, that's their best-selling shirt. The problem is some people ripped off the design, but Home Tees actually takes the money and puts it to charity, whereas these other companies don't. So just a little plug, if that's what you're looking for, you should go to hometees.com because they're the legit ones that came up with it, and their money goes to a good cause. But yeah, I love that shirt. I get so many compliments on it from like cast members when I'm there. Because
I've seen a lot of them. Like they're getting popular.
And I think that's always nice because for cast members especially, that's how they think of Disney, you know. And it's nice when you connect with someone on that level of like, yeah, I love it so much I call it home, you know. But yeah, you can get T-shirts for every. I mean,
Best Day Ever is a popular one I've seen. I'll race you to Main Street.
We have all those cool like Epcot shirts.
That's my favorite ones are the retro ones that sort of like are so like I have one that I haven't worn much, but it's the Mesa Verde University, which is just like this obscure reference to Horizons.
I love
like
obscure references.
Yeah.
That's my thing with everything, not just Disney, because I guess I feel like I'm getting to that
You
age.
want to get obscure. There's one I haven't picked up yet, but I want to get. It's from the Retro WDW, I think, channel and podcast. That's the Newness Wave Machine. And it is a reference to Dick Newness, who was a major player in the creation of Walt Disney World. And he had this idea when they were building Walt Disney World to put a wave maker in the Seven Seas Lagoon. Okay. And he loved this idea. He stuck with it. They eventually tried it.
Oh, yeah.
And the waves were so disruptive, it started to break up the island that it was built on. So they got rid of it. But it was like his baby, his like pet project that everybody was like, just drop it. Like, just please drop it, Newness. But, like, it's, like, you have to be, like, a crazy, hardcore historian for Disney parks to understand that reference. But it's a cool design. And it's, like, I don't know, it's a fun, subtle way. Like, I'd wear that out where, you know, I don't have to worry about people going, like, ooh, these big Disney
exactly.
Disney weirdo,
I think I feel like I've gotten to the age where like there's still things I love and I like to wear that kind of stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, I also like it to be obscure, not just for that, but because like when you do run into somebody who's like, wait a minute,
like a secret handshake,
yeah.
but through a T-shirt, you're like, you get it.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
This one I feel like is the most caught me off guard the most. Well, no, candles did I think more so, but this is I think a smart way to work around an idea that I was like totally expecting Disney to jump on, and they kind of have, but not really, which is Magic Band Decals.
Yep.
They're little stickers that you buy and you put on your Magic Bands so that you can personalize your Magic Bands, because when you get a Magic Band through Disney, by default, they're just plain flat colors.
Color. Yeah, unless you're buying one of the more expensive ones with characters on it. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting what Magic Bands have blown up into, because there's that to buy, but there's also a ton of tutorials online about painting your Magic Band, which people do. I've seen people paint Batman Magic Band, like, whatever you're into. So it's really interesting that, like, there's such a drive for customizing, which of course there is, because all you can really do right now is put your name in it.
Right.
And that's about as customized as it gets. So, yeah, the decals are just really cool. And, like, Disney's tried to answer that with those little slide-on things.
Oh, yeah. I don't think those do it as well. I think you really want the actual band itself. And they do have custom bands. Well, not custom. They have other bands that have things on them, and they have art on them. But, obviously, with any of these things, even if there is a Disney solution, you're going to get so much more creativity when you don't have to go through all the red tape. Someone like Disney can't just go like, I want a Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like, they have to go through red tape, and they have to go through their products division. But you go on Etsy, boom, there's probably someone willing to throw it together and put it on there and sell it to you cheap. Maybe. And, who knows? This could evolve more. There are those rumors that have come up online about, like, the evolution of Magic Bands and what they might turn into. But I feel like as long as there's that customizable element, it's still going to thrive. Yeah. So there's Magic Your Band and there's My Fantasy Bands are the two top ones that I found when searching around. But again, you go on Etsy, you can probably find a ton of different options. And then finally, I think, my opinion, the coolest one, and one I've never gotten anything. I
think the most well-known one, too.
Yeah, and I think one that, I can't speak for everyone on the group, but I know Kat's expressed interest, and I have, of picking up something for the January trip, which is custom Mickey ears. Yep. Because they're iconic. Yeah. The Mickey ears are so iconic, and there's the classic Mickey hat. There's, they do put out other types at the store.
Oh, the
but
Donald one.
The ones you can find online
are amazing.
Are so good.
Yeah. You could pretty much type in any franchise and add Mickey ears on Etsy, and you'll likely find something. I actually found a Hunchback one, which I wasn't like, oh, that's the one I want. But the fact that it even existed was great. But then you can also just tell somebody what you want and they'll make it for you. That's the beauty of Etsy, is most of the time it's never just surface value, like they're just selling this. Most of these artists, like, you can customize a specific thing, tell them exactly the colors and what characters you want, and they will create something for you.
The one I like the most that I've seen is they do a Little Mermaid one where instead of a bow on front, it's a fork.
Oh, that's great.
And I feel like they range, like, you've got the custom ones where it's just like the texture of the fabric around the ear is like the pattern of a movie you like. But then they have the real creative ones where it's like that, where it's like the colors. It's almost like Disney bounding reduced to the ears alone, where it's color schemes and textures and stuff like that.
And to add on to that, for women, bows is a big thing too, which, cause it reminded me, because you said Disney bounding. When I Disney bound as Donald, I have a Donald bow, and the bow is like the white and the blue and the yellow, and then it was supposed to be his red bow that, like, he actually wears. So not to digress, but that is a whole other area. If you go on Etsy, there are bows in the colors of so many characters. So if ears are a little too much for you and you're a woman and you want to wear a bow, but that, look at that, because you can get them all different sizes. They're really cute. Yeah.
There's so many out there that really it's just doing a couple of Google searches and you'll find a lot of them.
Yeah. They're very talented people.
This is just a list of 5, but there's a lot of other stuff. I mean, there's art. There's probably other products that I haven't even thought of or know about.
Art prints.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever have time and you're looking for something to get something Disney related to just spruce up your home or your outfit, or something to remind you of the parks, just go explore a little bit. Etsy's a big, wonderful place where you can find a lot of this stuff. Yeah. So there you have it. 5 Disney fan products that you can pick up to make your trip a little bit more special. If you have a suggestion, whether it's a different place to get some of the stuff we've mentioned, or whether it's a totally different object that we haven't talked about, feel free to let us know in the comments below. You can also let us know on Twitter. I'm at Rob Plays. Christine?
I'm at Ivy Winter YT.
If you want more Disney content, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel. I do 3 videos a week. Or if you want more than that, you could also subscribe to Christine's channel, which is
at Ivy Winter.
And if you want even more Disney content because you're addicted to Disney, like us, you can listen to our podcast. It's called the Tomorrowland Transit Authorities. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and you can also find it on our website, ttapodcast.com. We also have a Twitter account.
Dude, wait, what is it? Is it
the TTA Podcast? At the TTA Podcast. Somebody doesn't use it.
I mean,
it's mostly me right now, but I'm going to get her tweeting from it.
Now that he said that, you watch.
Oh, boy.
Take it over.
Good. Get a schedule going. That's tough. I can't juggle 2 things. That's hard. Thank you all for watching. Whatever you do this week, make the most of it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
The Maelstrom's gone, and they're getting rid of the Tower of Terror, and there's rumors that they're going to get rid of Ellen, and there's rumors that they're going to get rid of Journey to Your Imagination, and Innoventions, and they're going to get rid of the Wonders of Life building, and everything's changing, and I don't know where to draw the line. And that's actually a really good question. Where should I draw the line?